In 1985, I met Mr. Davis, my husband I didn't know to be, and his mother had passed away not long before we met. And so anyway, I found out that he was working and that he also had an apartment not very far from me. So we began to talk and to date. I met him at singles night at Safeway, and we've been together since the day we met, over 30 years, since '85. And I have 3 children, and he helped me raise those 3 children. And for a long time I didn't know that he was in the service. He never mentioned that he was in the Army. And one day something came on TV, and it was a Memorial Day, and he said that he was a veteran. And I said, oh, how wonderful. But he was telling me how, he has some flashbacks of the service. He was starting to tell me things that was going on with him so that I wouldn't be surprised. He said, sometimes I'm just not myself. I have good days and bad days. He said, but if you take me the way I am. And I told him, well, I have to love you for the way you are and who you are. And so anyway, he had told me about a plane that he was on. There were some Megs beside him, and that they were trying to force the plane down out of the air, and there were civilians on the plane, children and parents and things. It was, and soldiers. But anyway, they wanted to land. He said there was a storm and they tried to land, and Israel wouldn't let them land. And Hamas was the one that was forcing them down. And they had sent 2 Megs up there, and one was on each side, and they had to pull the shades down so that they wouldn't see there were soldiers on the plane. And everybody was in fear for their life. And they had to drop altitude hundreds of feet down, and so real fast, so that they couldn't detect them on the radar, and they were over water, and he thought he was going to die. And so anyway, he said that the children was all tumbling and people upside down, and he had to hold some children, and a little girl was begging, don't let her die. And we to this day don't know what her name was, but however, she's still alive. Everybody made it, but his ear was bleeding when they got to the ground. And he told me that he was having problems. He had problems hearing. He was deaf in his left ear, and that he saw a doctor, but they didn't really let them get an overhaul like they should have, and that they were trying to hide the fact that the enemy was trying to kill him. And so all these years, I've been trying to get him where the psychiatrist would see him, and that took a while, but finally they got him where the psychiatrist seen him, but it should have been already done in the makings earlier than it was. And I was getting upset because he started falling, and I didn't know why he started falling when he was a picture of health. And the psychiatrist said that he did not give him the wrong medicine. It was the diabetic doctor that gave him the wrong medicine. Since he started falling, they didn't offer him a walker or a wheelchair. And I had to go to the storage and get my wheelchair and put him in it because I didn't want him to fall anymore. Since then, they had him on a lot of different medicines, and I'd taken him to his appointment in January of 2016, and he saw a doctor, and that was his primary doctor. And so anyway, his diabetes was out of control that day. That was 6/28/16, and his diabetes was 600 or 700. And they should have kept him. They let him go, and the doctor shook his hand and said he was going to send health care and see him in 30 days. And the very next day, 6/29, he was in Methodist Hospital, shut down in intensive care, and he had a stroke. And this is the result of the doctor's negligence. He traumatized in the service, he post-traumatic stress, and also now he's paralyzed. And he has physical therapy, and he has occupational therapy, and he has a nurse. But it's not going to undo what's been done. And I really would like to see, because they've been owing him since '68, and they're committing a crime. I would like to see them, the VA, all that's involved from the doctor on, be held accountable. I wanted to make a police report at the VA, and they seemed to didn't want to tell me where the police department was there, and to make a written statement. So I've been calling and calling, but I've gotten nowhere with that. And I've also tried to talk to the director, which is never available over the clinic until after 3 o'clock. And I don't see well, so I don't want to drive at night and get back before dark, so they make it very inconvenient. He hasn't had an appointment since last year of January, and they're saying April they gave him an appointment of last year. It doesn't matter, April or whatever, they don't want him to have no appointment till April of this year. I believe that they seriously think that he may be dead by the time they see him, hopefully. And I feel shame that this is a soldier of the United States of America being treated like he's dirt and scum. He is somebody, because all the soldiers and veterans is somebody. And I'm not just standing for my husband, I'm standing for all veterans, because I know that if they get away with doing this to my husband, Mr. Lonnie Davis, USA Army soldier, then he's paid his dues, he's done what he should have done, he got an honorable discharge. And if they owe him, they need to pay him so that he can get better medical care. They should be ashamed of themselves. They have all kind of equipment they ordered almost 2 years ago, and they haven't given it to him. He can't walk. He needs a vehicle that's wheelchair accessible, and he also needs a scooter. And they said they had the scooter prescription and everything, but he's just never got it. They got bars for him where he should be able to raise himself and things. They will not give it to him. I have begged and pleaded, and then they send him medicine through the mail, and they sometimes don't even have the name of a doctor on the medicine, or they don't have the how you take the medicine, or if they got how you take the medicine, the VA's logo is not on there or whatever. They send it through the mail. And the other thing is that they send him medicine when they get good and ready. They'll send it too close together, or they won't send it at all, or I have to go down there and fight and talk to the pharmacy. And when I go down there, I know that constantly I found out that they don't even put it on record that I showed up and I came to see anybody about anything. And that is the advocates for the VA. So I'm very concerned, because at one point they wanted to put stilts in his leg and he was about to walk. And I didn't allow it because I have medical power of attorney and dual power of attorney. And I felt like they were going to put him to sleep like a dog and kill him and say that we couldn't do anything about it because he was under sedation and we couldn't bring him back. But I didn't give them the chance. I didn't take the chance. And I feel like somebody need to, if they don't pay him what they owe him and take better care of him, then they need to go to jail. Somebody need to be arrested for the state that this man is in. It's a disgrace. I am so ashamed of the U.S. Army VA treating their veterans like this. It's criminal. And they're taking that money and sending it somewhere else. They take the veterans' monies and they buy $1,000 building, construction, and all of that, tearing up stuff they don't need to tear up and building up again and again, when they need to just give him what's due to him. He's honorable. He doesn't deserve this. But I'm the 24-hour nurse. When there's no nurse here, the nurse only comes once a week. I take care of my husband like I'm supposed to, from his head to his feet. I am 67 years old and he's 69 years old. And they don't want him to talk. They want to make him afraid. But I'm not afraid of him. And I'm going to talk, and I'm not going to let up until somebody helps him, because they need to get him together. Whatever they need to do, they need to take care of it financially so that he can be stabilized in a house or wherever he has to be with a doctor that can see to him and everything. The doctor got to be held accountable. He shouldn't have dismissed him. And then he's already post-traumatic stress. He sees the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist is asking why he hasn't seen a physician. And they send him medicine without the doctor seeing him. No doctor has seen him, and he's studied getting medicine. They don't know if they're giving him too much or anything. What a disgrace. I am so ashamed of the VA. Somebody in there got a voice and need to raise their voice and do something about this situation with Mr. Davis. Well, I want to say that Mr. Davis, my husband, my soldier, my friend, has always been there for me and my children. And now I have to be there for him. And I feel so blessed to have such a good man, human being, and all he's been through with all of his post-traumatic stress. I've been so blessed that he's still alive. And that's a major accomplishment, to stay alive, because there's a lot of soldiers that's been wounded mentally and they have committed suicide. And he has not. And I thank God for that. And I am very, very proud of him today, that he's standing up and admitting what needs to be done and what should have been done. And if I was standing in front of the director of the VA, I would say to him, the VA director, that you need to act on Mr. Lonnie Davis, United States American soldier, behalf, ASAP, like now, no hesitation. He needs to be compensated for everybody that's been holding him back from his benefits. Lonnie Davis, my husband, is 100% disabled, and there should be no denying him of his benefits. If anyone continues to deny him of his benefits, being 100% disabled, from the plane to the behavior of the doctor, dismissing him when he should have been admitted, should be charged with a criminal act against him. All involved at the VA that is taking part in him not having his benefits should be accountable. I hope that something that I've said today will make it better at the VA for other soldiers, not only my husband, but as well others.